This week, we'll meet a culture with the desire to seize all of life's offerings, the Albanian Americans. Whether pursuing their educational goals, expressing themselves through dance, or sharing deeply held values with family, the Albanian Americans bring a joyful intensity to all of their endeavors. Join us as we get to know this spirited community, coming up next on World in America. Albanian Americans are eager to experience the joys of life, large or small.
Actually, 2-3 days ago, we were in the park, and Enes, my little one, caught a butterfly. I said, let me just recite you this poem. It's very sweet. It sounds very nice in my language. I love it. Basically, the translation is that the boy caught a little bird, and the bird was talking to the boy and saying, don't you feel bad for me that I'm so small and little, just like you? So the boy felt bad, and the boy kisses, smiles back at the bird, and lets the bird go. So once I told this to Enes, it looks like he got the lesson right away. He let the butterfly go right away.
Although they've easily acclimated to life in the United States, the Albanian Americans are also proud to preserve their ethnic heritage.
Albanians do have a very significant sense of community.
One of the things that Albanians pride themselves with is their hospitality and maintaining friendships.
When I have people here, Albanian music, Albanian food, this is who I am, this is what I am. I'm not changing anything.
You bring things of your own culture in the country where you migrate, but you also get things from your new home.
They are very good at exploring opportunities to make a better living in this country.
Albanian Americans are very open, sincere, honest people who are very much willing to help.
Some Americans of Albanian descent immigrated from other locales besides Albania. Regions such as Greece, Italy, Kosovo, Montenegro, and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. Albania itself is bordered by some of these countries, as well as by a long western coastline on the Adriatic Sea. The country's population primarily practices Islam, with a smaller percentage of adherents to the Orthodox and Roman Catholic faiths. Their official language, Albanian, happens to be one of the oldest in Europe and is also one of the original Indo-European languages. The family is central to Albanian life, and this is carried over into their American lifestyle. When we return, we'll speak with some Albanian American families about their adjustments to life in the States. Coming up next on World in America. We're back with more World in America. Albanian Americans have had a presence in the U.S. since the late 19th century.
The Albanians in the United States have come in different waves and different time spans. The first Albanian is thought to have arrived here late 19th century, 1886.
The first immigrants traveled to the U.S. to escape political turmoil and difficult economic situations.
The first wave or significant wave of Albanians coming to the United States is around the first decades of the 20th century. due to the economic hardships and circumstances back home. So primarily they came for economic reasons in the United States.
As was the case for many immigrant groups, a large wave of Albanians came to America after World War II.
A second wave of Albanians coming to the United States dates back after the end of World War II. The category of people trying to escape the prosecution and repression of the communist regime.
In the mid-20th century, events in the former Yugoslavia also contributed to a large Albanian influx.
A third wave of Albanians coming to the United States is during the 60s and till 80s, primarily Albanians from the former Yugoslavia, to escape the repression of the regime at that time.
I was, as a young man, 16 years old, I was arrested by Serb forces, that time Yugoslav forces. And in 1960s, they stopped my education because I refused to collaborate with them. So when they stopped my education and my life was in danger, so I left Yugoslavia, went to Italy, and from Italy I came to the United States.
Marriage. I met my husband, I went back, I met him in London, and decided to come and see, can I live far away, because I never went away from my family. And then I just packed up my stuff and came. Decided to get married, start a family, and stayed.
When I came to the United States, I hated everything about here. I was so lonely because we didn't have Albania. I came to Boston. But after 2 years, I got to adapt. I learned language, I created friends. Now I give my head for America.
Weathering change is never easy, but the Albanian-American immigrants persevered.
A fourth wave is comprised of Albanians coming after the 90s, after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the changes in the Eastern European countries.
My wife and I came here 10 years ago. It was right after the collapse of the communist regime in Albania, and although we were both college students back there, Albania didn't offer much in terms of a perspective of a future.
Well, in the 1998, that's the time that we came here. There's a time of a political turmoil in Albania. I was going to college, and I realized that Albania didn't have much to offer for new graduates. So this opportunity was given to me to come to America, and I said, let me just give it a chance.
Recent Albanian immigrants have seized upon the many opportunities offered in the United States.
So recently we have insignificant numbers to come to this country. Primarily there is still going on, which I'm not sure about the numbers, but still going on a diversity lottery visa program, which I guess could be, it used to be till 3,500 a year, but I don't know. I don't know now the exact numbers. Could be a few thousands a year. So that's, I think, the major chunk of individuals that come to this country.
Despite the myriad opportunities, life in the U.S. was not without its challenges. Like many immigrants, the Albanians noticed the hectic pace of life and the stark differences in culture.
America is like night and day with the places we come from, so it's very hard to get adapted to it. You come poor, you have different tradition, you have to work jobs, whatever you can get to exist, and take time until you succeed.
Like all the people, I mean, you change the society, you change the rules of life, you change the place, it's unknown, it's something new to you, and you feel like a baby walking, learning the first steps, where to go, how to do, how to speak. For me was I couldn't speak a word of English, so I had to learn a language when I was 31, which it wasn't something that you learn when you are 2 years old, 1.5. Learn a language, learn to drive, learn to live independent life in totally different country with different set of rules, with different society from where you come.
Learning the ways of a new country, culture, and language can be a lonely endeavor.
Loneliness is that you are so far away from your family, and suddenly you find no help, no family around, no support team for any decisions, and you're out there, you have to make it, you have to go further. There's no way back. You have to look forward, and it's scary.
The whole experience of migration is an experience of leaving an environment that you're familiar with, and you move to an environment that it is a brave new world. In other words,
The first initial thing that hit me was, the culture shock. It is so different from Albania. Everything, not only the people, the city, so many lights, so many different behaviors that I was not used to.
You leave your close circle of people and you come and you face a world of unknown. So that's a great challenge.
I remember my first dinner when I invited my neighbor and I couldn't speak the language, and I said, okay, what do I cook? What do I do? They're Americans, they live here. Maybe my cuisine and my cooking. So I was very upset. And I just made my own food. My husband was like, cook whatever you know. I said, okay, I'll do that. When they clean the pots and pans, I'm like, oh, they like it. It's just that you bring your own values, your own customs, your own things, and then you're suddenly put in society and you're like, okay, are they gonna like it? Am I doing right stuff? But once you pass that phase, you're like, okay, it's fine.
Okay, leave it there. I think the biggest challenge from what I've seen in my community rests with people who come from rural areas, who are used to a family life structure, family which is strongly connected, where, let's say, a number of married brothers, they live under the same roof. Now, once you come into the United States, the social challenges are such that it is not easy to maintain that kind of family structure.
In an unfamiliar culture, even seemingly basic activities such as registering for classes, hosting American friends, or navigating the subway take on a new level of complexity.
Although I was somehow familiar with America from TV, it was totally different in real life.
The whole subway system was a terrifying experience. The whole getting used to the map of the underground, and I remember I so strongly identified with there is a line of a song from Bob Marley which says good friends we've left and good friends we've lost along the way. And I felt that. I felt that I had left friends, I'd left loved people, and I was here in this huge city, which came to become my city. Which I call this my city now. I love New York.
Well, when we came here initially, I do know that a challenge that I had was also finding my way around college. Not how to get to the college itself, to the building, but how to get into college, because education is of paramount importance in my culture. And we both, my husband and I, wanted to go to college very quickly once we came to America. But actually it did take us a couple of years just to get around the system itself. It's so different from Albania. You can't just go in, register, and that's it, you're accepted. You had to go through certain tests, certain steps that we were not familiar with.
The reality of America always reveals something unexpected, but sometimes unexpected realities turn out to be a pleasant surprise.
What I see that is very welcoming in America is the fact that people are open.
And the most is freedom, so nobody put a pot on top of your head.
You can be who you are, and you can shed certain expectations of your family.
I could not believe what I had seen on TV, that is the life of everybody, but I still knew it would be somewhat of a brighter future than what I had in mind. And I'm seeing a few changes. I think we're getting there, little by little, but we're getting to a point where we would all feel comfortable, me, myself, and my family, in the way we are trying to adjust to the new country. I feel more at home now. And I think that American dream is little by little, slowly going to be fulfilled in a couple of years, inshallah.
Wait, just want to tell you that I was here.
Propone le
What
visa.
if I get to it? Okay. Okay.
Drejt, ta shqiptoj, e ka.
In times of transition, community support is vital. The Albanians believe in nurturing their relationships and holding closely to family traditions.
But she's saying she's going, she needs money.
Oh, that's what is talking about.
More I live, more I value my own values, my own family, my own parents' values.
They came in the big families, and they have their parents with them. If you had no parents, grandparents to teach your children, to stay with the children, you discipline your child, he go to school and say, hey, your old man is crazy. But if they have old parents, they will say, no, he's not crazy, he's talking to you for your own good. What are you doing? What?
She said, you're gonna get me a foster family. One of the moments with my daughter was it misunderstanding or my rule of saying no, and she wanted yes, and she said, you know, Mom, you are first Albanian, then American. And I am American with Albanian heritage. I'm like, okay, what's the difference? Because you grew up with our Albanian rules and values, with grandpa and grandma, and I know from where you come, I know what kind of life you had. I grew up here, and you want me to behave as I live in Kosovo. You know, I'm not.
The generation gap goes both ways, and layers of cultural complexities can complicate communication.
If you try to hit them and tell them, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, actually, in America, you push them away from that tradition.
So I'm trying certain part to install at my daughter's life, but certain part for her to embrace the new and the forward things of this country.
Every generation has something to teach and something to learn. Part of life's journey is determining what values should be preserved and what traditions should be altered.
Like my parents, they had a guest, I had to stay home, no matter what my plans were. Movie, friends, going out, he will just give me the look, like, where are you going? Tea, coffee, things. By the time the guests are gone, my father was, you know, talking to them, having fun. But they were his guests, not mine. I wanted out of the door, I wanted to have fun. No way. Here, she can just pass. Hi, Mom. Bye, Mom. Whatever you have, it's like, they are your friends. It's your obligation. I'm going with mine. So it was like, huh? You know? And then you pull back and think, yeah, she's right. You remember when you know? It is certain things that you compare and you caught in a moment. It's like, oh, no, she can. Yes, she does.
I feel like in Albanian culture, family is above everything else, you know? Like, you're just always there, you're always together, and it's like a very crucial part of the culture.
She doesn't have the experience, my experiences of growing up. So, yes, there are differences, but again, you can teach them the values and let them go.
When we return, we'll see what traditions the Albanian Americans are bringing back from their homeland. We'll learn about the meaning of besa, a cultural practice that offers hospitality to even the most unexpected guests. And we'll master the steps of an emotionally charged folk dance that expresses such concepts as honor, loyalty, bravery, and love. All coming up when World in America returns. We're back with more World in America. Albanian Americans hold their cultural heritage in high regard. Even the kids will acknowledge how important it is to their life.
If you don't know where you came from, you don't really know yourself. It's a big part of your own identity, and if you aren't comfortable with your own identity, you can't really go out and do all the things that you want to do and meet new people. You know, it's very important.
Well, it's the best culture I ever loved, and it's like a really great culture.
The term besa denotes a cultural practice of offering hospitality to all who enter the home and fulfilling a pledge of honor towards them. This concept is deeply ingrained in society, and Albanians take it very seriously.
Besa. Roughly speaking, it means extending a pledge or a word of honor. And by so doing, the person who extends this pledge, he would jeopardize his or her own safety or that of his or her own family in order to live up to that pledge.
When you promise, besa, fjala, it's like when I give a word or I promise something, you better be true.
And we have a history. One guy killed another guy and they were chasing him, and he ran away, and it says, when knocked on the first door he could see in the village, he asked, I am on your besa, on your hands. And he said, okay, took him in, and then when the guys came, they were friends of his son. The son, he killed his son. And they told him, hey, he killed your son. Now he said, don't touch him. I give him my besa, and I cannot touch him. He treated him as a guest, honored him, and the next day he put them near his village, and he said, you 24 hours you're free. After that, if I find you, I kill you.
Another way to connect families is by learning the Albanian language.
Albanians identify language as the most important cornerstone of their identity.
How do you say come here in Albanian? Hajde këtu. How do you say bye-bye? I speak both languages. Like sometimes I speak English and sometimes I speak Albanian.
The language itself, knowing a language, a different language from your own, I think it's a great treasure kind of to have. It's like a new world that you have. So I do not want to deprive my kids from knowing that new world, which is Albanian world.
One of the most rousing expressions of Albanian culture is its traditional dance. This emotionally charged choreography conveys such concepts as honor, loyalty, bravery, and love.
The name of the group is Shqiponjat, which in Albanian means the eagles. The eagles. Albanian dances are full of pride, are elegant, full of elasticity, but overall are dances, voluptuous dances in the way we dance them and in the way the public and the audience perceives them.
There's a visceral intensity to the dance with its bold steps, heavy rhythms, and symbolic movements. The Albanians' strong pride and deep feelings for their homeland are evident in every step.
The movements of Albanian dances come from the very nature of Albanian spirit, of the Albanian spirit. What makes Albanian dances unique and very different from any dance, any particular dance in the area of Balkan, is that we have so many motifs, we have so many costumes, we have so many songs, so different songs in each country, each city in Albania.
These dances express a zest for life rooted in Albania's spiritual heritage.
In general, what we perceive as real Albanian dances is what we perceive as what is reflected in terms of what spirit is reflected.
The Albanian Americans believe in seizing all life has to offer, and it serves them well in their American home.
I think Albanian community was very successful in America, and I'm proud of it.
This is a great social experiment, this melting pot.
The future generations coming from us as immigrants, the future generations will have both the positives of the Albanian culture and also, I hope, the positives of the American culture.